Okay, I was able to get apart one HLA out of 16. I used locking pliers, let's just say something like this, and I went at it, clamped down on the middle, try and twist and pull at the same time, and for whatever reason I can't do it. Here's the one that I was able to get. Let's see, you can see that. There is a little circle, almost looks like a little place for a ball to fit in, right at the top, but there is no ball bearing in there, so I'm not exactly sure what that's for. It's probably an inlet of some kind for the oil hole. Travels up to the top of there, and then that's how it enters here. I'm guessing. I honestly don't know. This is what comes out of the HLA once you screw it, twist it out. You'll get this. Let's just say something like that, and then you can pull this top piece apart, and it's pretty much exactly how Zepticon said it should work, so I was pretty happy at that point. Here's a regular pen just for comparison of how small these parts are that we're talking. That spring's not too bad. I mean, if you lose that somewhere, you can find that spring fairly easily. There's a tiny little ball. And this part you can just pick apart with your fingers. Get your fingernails. It's better if you have fingernails. Get your fingernails and slowly try to work this thing apart. Now, this is really slick and it will have a tendency to pop out. So be very, very gentle. The first time I did this, it did pop out. It went pew! And I had to search around for about 10 to 15 minutes before I found the little top, the ball, and the spring. That's a pen tip. And that's how small of a spring we're talking about there. Once you get it disassembled to this point, I think kerosine's a good idea. Unfortunately, I don't have kerosene, and I really don't feel like going out and buying kerosene, so I'm just going to use seafoam. Unfortunately, my HLAs, they're stuck as stuck can be. I saw my HLAs, I did not store them wet because I was still planning on going after it, on decompressing them. So I didn't want them, you know, chock full of oil and slippery, and I think that would just make my life a little bit harder than it had to be. So I had these sitting for what, 1-2 days now, and some of them have started to decompress. But then that leads us to another symptom that I have, and maybe a symptom that a lot of you have. They're very well known for causing tapping, clicking issues. But my particular issue, which doesn't come up too often, is when the car is cold started after sitting for a while. The engine sounds just beautiful, magnificent, perfect, almost brand new. Then a couple minutes later you start getting click, 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 clack, clack. You know, maybe not a knocking, but definitely a tapping. It's because as the pressure builds up in these, they don't release. They get stuck. So having these sit for more than a couple days and having them decompress makes a lot of sense in my particular situation. Because it tells me that for the most part my HLAs are to blame for that specific condition in my specific case. Might not be the same for you, but that's something to look out for. I just kind of stumbled across that by chance. Now if I had gotten my head back, put everything back together as soon as I got it, I would have never known about this. Yeah, they are supposed to decompress, but fairly quickly. If they get stuck and then decompress over a long period of time, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Zepticon, the video was amazing. I thank you a lot. Your accent means absolutely nothing. You're a 626 owner. You're extremely knowledgeable. Don't even worry about your accent. I don't even know why you would bring that up, honestly, because it makes absolutely no difference. When you're typing online, no one can hear your accent, so don't even worry about it. So what if you don't have an American accent? You think having an American accent is cool? It's not. It's what you're growing up with. It's like being black or white or Indian or Asian. It's just what you're given. And it takes a lifetime to change that kind of thing, so why apologize? Because you're awesome. Absolutely. Don't apologize for being awesome.
It's about the smallest spring I've ever seen.
It is extremely small.
My grandfather's watch pot.
It is about a watch.
You have this.
I think that's some kind of bearing.
Out here. This also relieves the
Maybe to let the oil in
pressure
and out.
inside, so you can take out.
Could be for pressure.
This part, and also the spring.
Big spring.
When I did this, when the HLA was still dirty, it was sitting out like this, filled with oil, so it was not a problem pulling this pouch.
Yeah,
out.
when you pull that,
But,
it is full of really dark,
it's,
nasty oil. But hey, I got one apart, and as long as I can get them apart, I'm good. The problem is actually getting them apart. They just will not come apart for anything. Is air supposed to come out of that little ball? I don't hear any air. Maybe that's kind of, maybe I need to clean it first. How about we'll just start with that. I'll just take all this apart and clean it, but maybe I have to wait for those to decompress a couple more days.